Welcome to the Agnostic Table, a table that may or may not be here, where we discuss theological debates stemmed from movies. Today we will be looking at The Truman Show.
If you didn't know, The Truman Show is about a man stuck in a TV show. He's manipulating film for his whole life for millions of people to see, and he doesn't even know he's being filmed.
During the film, the question is raised time and time again. Do we have free will?
Truman, just like in our own lives, is given a set amount of choices to choose from based on restrictions. He is not able to choose his own freedoms because the show still needs to run and he can't be in on the show. I think examples would be with communist China. People aren't allowed to use the internet freely. They aren't allowed to do much of anything upsetting the government or the people in control.
Yeah, but in the show, he has like freedom of choice, so they will only give him a set amount of like things they can choose from, but he still has like the choice to choose what he wants. And because he has a choice, he has his own consequences, just like in supermarkets. So if I want to go to a supermarket and buy something, there is only a set amount of stuff I can buy, but it's still like I have my choice to buy what I want.
Well, the supermarket only supplies things that are able to be produced at that point in time. There's a difference between that and freedom of choice of something that most people have access to, like the internet in China, because there is a distinct limitation on those people.
Yeah, but like even if it is limited choice, it's still choice. If I'm given two things out of like two things that I can choose, I'm still like able to choose one or the other to get the consequence.
But if there's 1,000 choices and you're only getting two, wouldn't that be considered a distinct limitation on your choices?
It is a limitation, I guess. But you still have the choice, so I do see where you're coming from.
Yeah, well, in that sense, you could very well be choosing from your comfort zone anyway. I guess, and just like Truman in the movie, there's this terrific quote on Transparency Now that says that Truman's fear of leaving this invented world once he realizes it's a fraud is similarly like our own reluctance to leave the world that we live in.
What you just said sounds exactly like what Christoph said in the movie. Let's play that clip.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that quote really means that we are sometimes scared to do things that we're uncomfortable doing.
But even though we would be uncomfortable doing something, we still have like the choice to do that.
Well, that would mean leaving our own little world behind, even for a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like going with the flow, where you just do whatever you feel comfortable doing, where you like still have the choice to go with the flow or not, though it's not just like one, kind of like you have to do one or the other.
Yeah, but going back to the Truman Show, he is physically stopped when he doesn't go with the flow.
Oh, yeah, at the nuclear reactor site. But like Christoph said, he could leave at any time if it was just more than a vague ambition. If he was like absolutely determined to discover the truth, there's no way we could prevent him. He eventually did get out, though, because his will became more than just a vague ambition. He physically wanted to get out.
Yes, but the only reason he got out was because the producers made a critical error in watching him. And even then, he had to endure hardships that would have sent most people back to mainland.
This is true, but he did have the ambition to get out, and combined with the producers' mishaps, allowed him to escape, I guess. I would like to expand more upon this, but before the end of the podcast, I would like to turn our attention to advertising. Arguably, this is the funniest part of the show. Here's the clip.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mountain Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Just like Truman in that clip, most people don't understand the need for advertisements. Just like according to Adobe, only 26% of people watch the TV ads, And with the rise of clickbait on the internet, only 8% of people pay attention to those. We are definitely in control of what we want to watch or what we don't want to watch.
Yes, but through the advertising, it artificially influences the way people who are within earshot recognize the ad. People are less likely to buy something they've never heard of or seen before than the things they have. So even though these people don't consciously pay attention to the ads, they are still being limited in what they are willing to buy.
Oh, just like Coca-Cola. But unlike Coca-Cola, I don't have to buy their product. Many people prefer Pepsi or off-name brands like Dr. Thunder.
Well, there you have it. From choices and comfort to physical and mental restraint, The Truman Show incites thought and questions the very freedom we all believe we have. Tune back in next month for another great episode of The Agnostic Table,
where we will be discussing what all-loving God would allow something like Nicolas Cage to walk the earth. Through the film, National Treasure 4, To Treasure for Me.